welcome back to the Real Deal Durham Podcast. In today's discussion, we're going to go over a little bit of home renovations. And no, I'm not going to be flipping to another screen where you're going to see me shirt off and overalls, banging nails in one of those kind of videos. It's not that kind of podcast. But what I am going to do is I'm going to break down some home renovations, some tips, some myths, and just my overall feelings of that kind of topic from both a from a seller or owner, and then from a buyer perspective. So hopefully wherever you are in your real estate career, you're going to get some value of that. And again, if you have any questions, don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. So let's get into it. So first of all, if you're a seller or an owner and you're thinking about renovating a property, first thing you got to consider, it's numbers over emotion. Take that HGTV, take that home and garden television, just, that's the same thing. Or whatever, that Living Life, I don't know, my mom had those magazines, whatever. Take all those fancy stuff and just put it to a side, because when we're doing renovations, the idea here is to focus on the numbers over emotion. What do I mean by that? You don't want to get carried away with emotions on your renovation, because I'll be honest with you, your taste might not be everyone else's taste. Some people might be into like the granite countertops, some people might be into like really colorful accents, but I'll be honest with you, if you're trying to get the most for your house for like a resale or a refinance, just because you like it doesn't mean a buyer or an appraiser will like it. So that's not usually the best way to go if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck there. What you're trying to do is really make a return on your investment. So any amount of money that you put into it, whether you're renovating, you're upgrading, you're painting, whatever you're doing, the money you put in, you want to try to get as much money out as possible, whether you're selling or refinance, to kind of maximize what you're doing in your renovation. The goal here should be to improve the property's value and maximize your return on investment. Just because you put like some gold handles or you paint the ceiling with like the picture of a polar bear, that might be nice for you, but that doesn't necessarily add value to the property. I'm going to touch on some stuff to add value in a second, but again, that's the kind of mindset you're going to want to have if you're a seller or you're an owner of a property and you're looking to renovate either for a refinance or a sale. And another thing, avoid over renovating. I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little guilty on this on some of my investment properties, and even advising clients early on, I was like, we gotta be the best of the best. We gotta do everything over and above. I wanna be the best in the business. Yeah, the mindset for that is great, but how it actually works out in reality isn't all that great. Like you're not getting so much more money just because you went, 2 or 3 upgrades higher than what the market is. What I always like to do is look at the sold comparables. And I wish I knew this when I was starting out, whether you're an owner or you're a buyer or you're a seller. Look at the comparables out there, and that's what you should kind of govern. If you're going 3-4 steps over what properties are selling for or showing for in your area, you might want to dial it back a bit. But if you're choosing these like laminate flooring, but everyone else is doing like vinyl plank, you might want to turn the juice up on that so that you're matching. So again, you're getting the most return for any of the investment decisions you make. Last but not least on this topic, budget, contingency, reserves. Set a budget for whatever renovation you're trying to do, and please put a contingency in there. I don't know anyone who's done a renovation that has come in on budget for their first budget. It always goes over. So instead of being scared or anxious that it's going to go over, just anticipate for it. Work that contingency into your numbers. Depending on your renovation, I like to put anywhere between a 5% and a 10% contingency on my renovations, just so I got some peace of mind. And hey, if it doesn't go over, I got a little extra money. And again, that's always good, especially in these times. And again, if it does go a little bit over the original budget, I have that contingency set. And then the final thing here, just have reserves. Mindy Jensen from Bigger Pockets has this really great quote, and I always like it. The amount of reserves that you have is inversely related to the problems you're going to have in your renovation. So let's just do this. Let's say you only have $500 in your reserve budget. That's all you got, $500. I guarantee you that problem you're going to have in your renovation is going to be like $3-4 grand, like easy. It's just the way it's going to work. And alternatively, if you have like $5,000 set aside in your reserve budget, the only problem you're going to have is like a faulty light cover that's going to cost like $25. It's so weird the way it works, but I always would err on the side of caution. More reserves versus less reserves. So make sure you guys get that in there. Now I mentioned before about maximizing value, and this is kind of what I want to get in here. So I wrote some stuff down so I didn't forget. I got 5 points for you, so stay with me here. It's going to be boosting curb appeal, upgrade your bathrooms, upgrade your kitchens, laundry room, and then some miscellaneous items, but I'll break it down for you. So first thing, boost curb appeal. When you're broke, like me, when I started, this was all I had. When I had like the rentals or the first couple listings I was looking at, I'm like, okay, I don't have a lot of money. What can I do, or what can I tell my client to really like boost the curb appeal? First thing, mulch your garden. Don't worry about all these crazy garden beds. You can just go to Home Depot, go to whatever like landscape garden store that's close to you and get a whole bunch of mulch. I like black mulch because it's nice to cover everything, and you just spread that mulch over everything. It's going to cover weeds, it's going to cover bud, shrubbery, and you can make the outside of your property look really good at a really inexpensive cost. And again, you can do this yourself. You can hire some high school kids, or even if you hire like a general landscaper, they should be able to do this no problem. So I'm a big fan of the mulch in the garden. Something that, again, is really easy is just freshly cut your grass. Now, you don't have to be like some of those crazy John Deere commercials with the cross cut and the grading and stuff like that. But honestly, if your lawn is consistently cut all the time and it looks really good whenever you're showing it or it's getting ready for a refinance, it's going to show well, because I think the way, I think the saying is the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if someone pulls up to your property, it's got a fresh cut lawn, the garden's all mulched, they're looking at it, wow, they take care of this property. And they're probably going to go in not looking to see any like little nicks or missing baseboards or paint chips. They're not going to really think that, because they've already got the idea walking in that you take care of your property, and they're putting your property a little bit higher in their mind there. So it's a little bit of a mind game that you can play on the way in. And then the last thing here, if you're looking for like a big ROI number from the exterior, change your garage door. I looked at the stats and it literally blew me away. But if you change your garage door, it's like 133% return on investment. So again, you spend $100 bucks, you're gonna get $133 back just because you upgraded your garage door. I don't know, those are what the numbers say, but I will be honest with you. If I see like a really nice garage door, especially some of those modern ones, I definitely do stroke my chin and be like, yo, that house might be a good one. I definitely want to go see that. So if you're looking for some ways to boost curb appeal, go give those a try. Now again, let's jump to the bathrooms. That one's pretty easy. You spend a lot of time in the bathroom. Like first thing you do when you wake up, usually the last thing you do before you go to sleep, you're in the bathroom a lot. Hopefully not more than you need to, or you might need to see a doctor. But again, that's not the point of this here. So if you're going to upgrade your bathrooms, again, I would go through some of the simple timeless upgrades. Maybe a nice luxury vinyl plank. If you have the money, go for some tile floors. I wouldn't go crazy on the fixtures there, but I would just see what the market's doing. Like I said earlier, whatever the bathrooms that you're seeing in some of these sold properties, just match it. You can literally take these pictures to Home Depot or take them to your contractor, and they'll know exactly what to do to give you the bathroom product that you're looking for. Now for the kitchen. If it's not in the kitchen, most people are going to be in the bathroom. Have you guys ever been to those parties? The party's hot, like, they got the basement going, they got all the chips and snacks in the backyard, but where does everyone always end up? In the kitchen. I don't know if it's just because that's where the food happens, or just like that's the heartbeat of the house. But whatever you do, whether you're owner of a property, you're buying a property, you're selling a property, make sure to focus on the kitchen. Now, I'm not going to give you the basic, upgrade the kitchen, make it look nice. I'm going to give you some actual tactical advice how to make sure you really upgrade that kitchen. First thing, kitchen islands. I know it's interesting. Like a lot of people, they see the island and they know they're good, but it's not something that they think to add or think to look for. So if you're looking at all the sold comparables or looking at some of the data for designs coming out, kitchen islands are actually a huge selling feature and really boost the value of your home. So if you don't have one, consider adding one. And if you do have one, consider upgrading it to give it a little bit more modern taste. Another thing that's looking really good is these walk-in pantries, similar to walk-in closets in the bedroom. When you have that walk-in pantry, it just gives that home a luxury feel. It's a nice homey luxury feel. You walk in, you can see your spices, all your pantry items, and it looks good. And it's closed off from the kitchen and gives that more elevated or upgraded lifestyle in that property. And the final thing, shout out to Property Hustlers for this one, it's a pot filler. It's super simple to install. It's literally just a water line running over top of your stove so you can fill a pot right over the stove. It's so simple, but it's so elegant. It literally separates your house. You could have two houses with very similar upgrades. One house has a pot filler and the other doesn't. You're gonna be like, wow, that's the kind of finishes that I'm looking for. And it's actually helpful. I don't know if you ever had a property with that pot filler, but add it one time and it's like a heated steering wheel. You can't do without it. So again, kitchen islands, walk-in pantries, and add that pot filler for those real big upgrades. Moving on here to your laundry room. Bigger is always better here. If you can get a bigger laundry room that people can fold clothes and get in there comfortably, it's not like this unfinished dungeon that people are scared to wash their clothes. If you can get a nice lighting, nice flooring, and put a couple upgraded appliances in there, that can really raise the value of your property there. Because a lot of people do laundry at home. That's not a thing a lot of people are outsourcing. So if you can put that in there, you can really a buyer or an appraiser can really visualize someone living there. It's a nice open space. It's well lit, has good appliances in there. So definitely something that goes under the radar a lot of the time. So make sure you're focusing on your laundry room. And finally, just some miscellaneous things. A lot of people just forget this or overlook at this, but these are some easy things you can do to make sure you boost your curb appeal. 1, deep cleaning. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna do any cleaning because I'm the worst cleaner. Ask my mom, I can't clean for nothing. But again, either you're gonna clean, you hire a top-notch cleaning company and they come in and they actually give it a good scrub. You'd be surprised what a nice, thorough clean can do for a property versus diving into some of these renovations that you might not have needed to do. You might not need to replace this thing, you might just need to give it a good clean. And these are some of the things I like to think about when I'm trying to upgrade my property and not over-renovate. Another thing, fresh paint. That's like the easiest thing to revitalize a property. I don't care if it's a new rental, it's a new property, you slap a fresh coat of paint across the entire house and whoo, it pops. And you get that smell of fresh paint too, which is great with buyers or renters coming in. It just shows that you've done the effort or taken the time to upgrade that property and they really appreciate it. Like I mentioned in the laundry room, upgrade your appliances, guys. Like it's 2023. Like nobody wants those 1970s appliances that are making noise and gyrating, moving and shaking because they're about to be on their last leg. Take your time, take some money, go upgrade your appliances. There's tons of discount appliance stores that have like really high quality products that are refurb, scratch and dent, but are more up to the 2023 standards. I got a couple here in Durham Region that I like to work with and a couple others with my long distance portfolio, but make sure you're upgrading those appliances to get the best look for your property that you can. And finally, this one's super easy, but it's like way overlooked. Just recaulk everything and pause, relax, but like recaulk like in the bathroom and stuff like that. Anytime I get a new rental or anytime like I'm talking with a client, first thing I do when I go in the bathroom, clean the grout lines and recaulk everything. It doesn't cost that much, but it gives such a luxury feel to walk into a bathroom or a kitchen or even a different area of your home that's like freshly, like all the grout lines are clean, everything's newly caulked. It just gives it a really good looking there. So again, those are the 5 things that I really think upgrade your home there. And definitely take a look. I think those are some amazing options there. But before I move on, let me talk to the buyers for a second, because buyers are going to do the same thing. They're not necessarily upgrading their own homes, but they're definitely getting involved. So first thing for the buyers, they're kind of looking at stuff from like a different lens. When you're a seller, you're looking all about, how do I get the most money for my rental? How do I get the most money when I sell my property? But for a buyer, you're walking into the property on the other side. How do I get into this property and not walk myself into a money pit? So these are kind of some of the tips I have here. You're focusing on the least glamorous aspects of the property. Again, sellers are over here, they're looking at like, fresh bathrooms, new laundry room, flooring, paint, appliances, pot fillers, all that good stuff. But as a buyer on this side, you're looking to make sure this property doesn't fall apart and just like kind of crumble in your hands. You're looking at the roof, the foundation, HVAC, concrete, plumbing, electrical, all those big, non-sexy items that actually are the backbone for the property. Because if those are no good, just forget it. Who cares about paint, flooring, and new baseboards? Like, it doesn't matter. If you got a fuse box that's about to set the house on fire, just walk away. I don't care if they got a fresh kitchen in there. If this thing's going to go up in flames in the next 2 weeks, like it's not a good buy for me. So those are the things you want to look for, especially as a buyer. Some things that I like to do, or they're actually kind of policies in my business, and I encourage all my clients to do the same. You got to get a home inspector, or at the very least, have a qualified contractor walk through that. They're going to see things that you don't. Like, again, I'm a real estate professional. I'm very good with the numbers. I'm very good with the buyers, the sellers, the investments, but I'm not a home inspector. I can't like rip apart a furnace and tell you what's going on. I can't rip apart an electrical system and tell you what's going on. So when you work with people who have a solid team around them, you can like leverage their resources and make sure you have all the information as a buyer to make the best decisions possible. So make sure you're working with a home inspector, or at very least a qualified contractor. Like I said, these aren't the most exciting parts of the property, but what is exciting is not walking into a property that's leaking from the foundation, leaking from the roof, the electrical boxes sparking when you guys are having like Sunday dinner. Those are things not to get excited about. So definitely want to make sure you kind of look at these things before you get into a property. It's essential here that if you're looking at a property and the roof's gone, the electrical has to go, HVAC needs to be replaced, it's going to blow your budget right away. I don't care if you budgeted for renovations and had a contingency. If you have 3 or 4 of these major systems that are about to go either now or in the very near future, I highly suggest this might not be the property for you, or you want to make sure that you're getting considerable concessions from the seller to kind of cover the cost of these repairs there. But again, if you have any questions about this as a buyer, please feel free to DM me, leave me a comment. I'd love to help you out. Oh, shoot. What I also did for all of you guys, all my community there, I have a free rehab estimator. It's I'll put the link down here in the description if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to it, I'll put the link in the show notes. And if you see this on Instagram, just jump in my bio. I have a free rehab estimator. Jump in there, square footage. It kind of tells you the high, low, and the average. It's a great place to get started. Now, again, this isn't like a be all and end all. This is exactly your renovation budget, but it gives you a great idea to see if, hey, if you're a owner or a seller, is this going to be a good return on my investment for the property price that I hope to sell? And if you're a buyer, is this going to be a renovation budget that I'm comfortable with going in given the purchase price? So it kind of gives you a great place to start. And again, we can always communicate with that and see where you really lie with everything there. So I hope that helps. Buyer, seller, owner, renter, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure you know about your home renovations, how to, one, get the most for your property if you're selling, and two, how to make sure you don't spend the most if you're buying your property. Guys, it's Isaiah Henry. It's the Real Deal Durham Podcast, and we will be right back.